and haven't talked too much there about technology, but it obviously does have a role to play. And this second part now, we'll just go through some of those areas, and we will start with the role of technology now in analysis. But the first thing I wanted to cover, I think a really important question when you're looking to use any technology in your coaching is, why am I doing this? So work from the end or the finish backwards, if I can put it that way, is in, what are you trying to get out? What's your ideal end result, or what do you want to achieve, and how can technology help you, versus see the latest and greatest little gadget or piece of technology that, you know, Joe down the street or over at another club's using and think, oh gee, I might got to get me one of them. No. Think, what am I trying to achieve? How is there a technology solution that perhaps can help me along the lines, or along those lines? So flip it around, I suppose, and hopefully then you'll get a good outcome from any technology that you do invest in. This is just a way of splitting up the technology these days into three key areas. So DIA, devices up the top, internet on the bottom right, and applications on the bottom left. And the applications have existed probably for a long period of time, but now the difference, I suppose, is some of these applications via use of the internet and via delivery to devices can be shared and get to a lot wider range of people a lot quicker than they ever have before. So I think that's obviously what's evolving, is that, and you're seeing it with social media, is the sharing and communication that some of these technologies have evolved to allow. So let's look at analysis and technology. There's a link down the bottom here where Rob Carroll, the video analyst, talks about video analysis on a budget that you might want to check out as well. But the first thing when talk about analysis is usually to put a really high priority on doing anything you can to collect video footage, whether that's your training or your games. It's just, you know, video offers great capacity to teach your players well and to analyse the game. So anything you can do to collect vision, whether it's every week, once a month, once a season, whatever it is, particularly and in training especially, I reckon, as well, do it. You've got all these devices these days. iPads can record, iPhones can record, typical DV cameras, flip cams as they call them, couple $100 for these, HD quality footage. Hit record, hit stop, plug it into your computer, copy the file, you've got the video on your laptop, away you go. And it's that easy. A lot of times, depending on your situation, you'll have people standing around at training or games holding drinks, where they can hold a drink in one hand and hold the flip cam in the other and film the action. Okay, so find a way that you can film and record your team or individual players in both training and games. I'm sure you'll be really excited with the value you can get out of it. We'll skip that. We did a basic demo of video analysis, so just getting video onto your laptop and then just editing it just by making a simple time list of, you know, key events that you see, writing them on paper, and then being able to go back to that point in the video and show it in a team meeting. So simple stuff. And then some sports code stuff we looked at, which is obviously at the elite level, and how it allows you to code or tag the game in really specific ways, extract the information out at the end from a statistical point of view, and then also have those stats linked to the vision so that you can look more closely at the exact incidents that you're looking at. So for example, we could look at how many times we've successfully transitioned the ball from defence to attack for a score. Conversely, we could see how many times perhaps we've failed to do that and get a statistical or a percentage on that, and we could look at every time we failed to do it, show me the vision. There might be 8 or 10 clips from the game to look through, and by being able to look at all those clips together with a reasonably trained eye, you'll be able to pick up perhaps what the key issues might be for why those passages of play broke down. So the sports code enables that and a whole lot more. And then you've got, in terms of this video tagging or coding, a lot of apps now that allow you, they don't have the vision on them necessarily, but if you're live at sporting events, you can tag key events. So you can come up with and call events whatever you like, and label buttons that you then click those buttons as you see the events happening, and it creates a record and a numerical count of those events. And later on, if you do have video, you can link it up to the video, so it's time coded, so that you can then still have the vision linked to those events, which is really good. Play-Doh Sport is another one, similar type of coding with sort of different layers of coding to provide a lot more context and information into each event that happens. So about teaching and technology, this is one I'm really interested in and passionate about, because I think it has a great role to play if coaches understand how to use it. In the past, the team I'm at, we've tried all sorts of things with headsets that allow coaches to communicate with players, and it can work well. The thing is not to, it's a bit like you say, if you're with any training drill, you don't want to be telling players what to do, but you might be providing questioning or prompts or what's called cueing through there, so that, for example, if a player is slow on picking up on defensive transition because he's just keeps getting caught ball watching, you might just cue him with transition. Transition might be a cue word that you communicate to him through the headsets every time, and help him to pick up on that quicker. So hopefully then when you take it away, he's picked that up himself. So I suggested at different levels, could you just have an iPhone, with the old arm strapped to someone, give them a buzz while they're doing a training drill, you can cue them up that way. Is that a viable option perhaps for some coaches to make it realistic to do it, to achieve that sort of thing? A lot of apps that can allow you to do video feedback straight away, particularly for technique type sports or skills. Goal kicking in Australian football is what we've used it for. So you can record on your iPhone or your iPad, record someone having a kick for goal, straight away be able to replay that back, draw on the vision, highlight certain key points, play it back for fast, slow, however you want, compare it to other clips of best practice, for example. So you can do video feedback, almost in near real time, if you like, just through some apps. And then in terms of when it comes to teaching off the field, I spoke earlier about how the internet and devices have enabled that sharing of information and communication of information to happen so quickly and easily, and that's, I think, the power of that can be seen in being now able to deliver video in particular. Again, I mentioned it's a great teaching tool, so you can deliver video quickly to your players, other information, whether it's just documents or text or diagrams, images, of structures and setups and those sort of things. It's really easy to do that, and there's a variety of ways. It's easy to create your own website. You can use something like what's called Dropbox, which just enables you to share files, including video, easily between a group of people. And it can all be done, even video, if with a decent internet connection, can be shared around really quickly and easily these days. And you might have heard there's a term at the moment growing in education called flipping the classroom, which I think applies here. So what it's about is delivering a lot of your content and your concepts that you're going to teach via this form here first for players to have a look at, rather than your team meetings. So you deliver this first, you get them to think about it, process it a little bit, and then they come to team meetings and you discuss it a little bit more and collaborate on it, and if players have questions to ask. So it's called flipping it around, where normally the team meeting, obviously the coach would stand out the front and do the chalk and talk stuff, which it's questionable how much players actually retain in those environments. So yeah, flip it around, deliver the content first, and then use the meeting to collaborate, communicate, and make learning a social thing, which is a key component of it. Another app along the video app lines, I reckon this is fantastic, called Coach's Eye. So with Coach's Eye, a bit similar to the one I talked about before with analysing kicking technique, but here you can actually pull up some vision in the app, and you can annotate and talk about it, and it's actually recording everything you do, just like I'm recording this presentation now, so that when you save that video, it's like a mini self-contained presentation saved as a video file that you can then upload or email around. And I reckon this is probably the best app I've seen this year, potentially, when you talk about off-field teaching and delivering video and what video can do. The fact that you can also annotate it, have your audio or your talking recorded over the top, and then just send that out, I reckon, to players is fantastic. So that's possible for everyone. I think the app's about $5 in the App Store. Great stuff. And finally, on coach development, online is opening up a lot of resources, and it's making the world a smaller place. It's enabling you to connect, if you want to, with a lot of really good people doing some good things around the planet. So there's some real opportunities in coach development, and I know there's some things evolving that's going to make it even better in the short future, and hopefully we're making a bit of a contribution to that as we speak. So just some coach development stuff. There's, follow blogs, do some searching in Google about whatever coaching area you're interested in. Follow blogs. You can look up as well RSS feeds or readers, which most blogs will have an RSS feed that you can paste into a Google Reader, for example, and then you can just go to the one spot where all the information from all the blogs you're interested in accumulates. So rather than have to go to all different websites, it just comes to the one spot, to this one site, Google Reader, and all the information's there for you then to process and click on anything you're interested in. So it's an efficient way of gathering it and disseminating through information. Twitter, there's a lot of uses of Twitter. There's a lot of crap that goes on Twitter. There's some stuff that you wouldn't be interested in at all, and I'll be in the same boat. I reckon I wouldn't be interested either. But if you wade through some of that, there's some really good people. Same thing as blogs. There's some good people, some good coaches on Twitter that really put out some useful information, or just sometimes good quotes. Kevin Eastman, who's I think was an assistant coach at the Boston Celtics championship winners while he was there, he often just puts out some quotes or tidbits on his coaching experiences. Really experienced coach, has some great just little quotes that you probably want to store up and perhaps use at some time in your own team meetings or players, or just incorporate into your philosophy. So yeah, Twitter, again, find the right people to follow, and you'll get some real benefit out of that. And I can't leave without mentioning our contribution and the coach enhancement platform that we're putting together. You may or may not have seen that, and we've only recently released some details about it. But what we've tried to put together is a combination of some of the things we've talked about today, but we know how powerful, or hopefully you know how powerful video is as a teaching tool for players. Well, we're trying to use that in the same concept of teaching and developing coaches. So the idea being, I spoke about how easy it is to record video these days on all sorts of devices, is to, rather than record a training drill, you might get someone for one of your drills to actually put the camera on you and record how you go about your coaching and what your behaviours are during that drill. You can then upload that onto the platform, log in, private login, video secure, and then you can reflect and critique your own coaching. What was good? There's going to be some good stuff in there. What areas could you improve on? Maybe make a couple of key points for what you're going to work on. You can also then invite mentors or other coaches that you trust and value to give you some feedback, so they too can log in from anywhere, anytime. They don't have to be at your training session, don't have to be at your team meeting. They can log in, have a look at the video and add their thoughts too. So you're creating, again, this social learning effect. Or the other thing that we will offer in combination with this is an extra service where sports relations will analyse your vision, if you like, based on a coaching framework, and they'll provide some feedback to you on the vision that they've seen. So all that's designed around enhancing your coaching effectiveness. So if you think that might be of interest, there's a sign up page at the moment just to stay updated. We're still a bit off from releasing it, but we think it can have a real positive impact on improving coaches, and we're really passionate about doing as much as we can to make that happen. So that is all I had. So good luck in your coaching for this year, or if you're in the middle of a season, coming towards the end of your season. There's some of my contact details. I was doing some stuff on the Team Sport Coaching blog, that's still there, but otherwise sports relations is who to get in contact with if you want to have a chat about anything. Thanks a lot.